You probably think that lowering your cost of living means eating instant noodles, never leaving your house, and living in constant misery. That is a lie sold to you by consumer culture. Today, I am going to show you how to brutally slash your expenses without sacrificing an ounce of your happiness. You will learn the exact lifestyle audit system to strip away the invisible financial leeches draining your bank account so you can buy back your freedom instead of financing someone else's. Whenever we talk about reducing monthly overhead, people immediately panic. They assume I am going to tell them to cancel their internet, sell their dog, and sit in an empty room staring at a wall. But that is confusing frugality with actual deprivation. Deprivation is forcing yourself to suffer by denying the things that bring genuine value to your life. Intentionality, which is the strategy the wealthy deploy, is simply refusing to pay a massive premium for items that do absolutely nothing for your overall well-being. Quick reality check. When was the last time you bought a physical object and it fundamentally elevated your baseline level of happiness for more than a few days? The brutal truth is that most of the purchases cluttering your credit card statement provide zero lasting joy and actively destroy your future financial security. Today, we are surgically removing the fat from your budget, not the muscle. The absolute fastest way to drastically lower your cost of living is to stop acting like a personal piggy bank for the automotive industry. Right now, the standard monthly auto loan has skyrocketed past the $700 mark, with many larger vehicles demanding well over $1,000 every single month. People justify this by claiming they need something dependable to get to work. But let's look at the brutal math. You are agreeing to hand over a massive chunk of your post-tax labor for the better part of a decade to fund a piece of machinery that loses a fifth of its value the second the tires hit the public street. If you want to permanently lower your stress and your cost of living, stop treating your transportation like a billboard for your success. Buy a reliable pre-owned vehicle that is at least 3 to 5 years old, like a Honda or a Toyota. Let the original owner absorb that devastating initial depreciation hit. When you eliminate a massive auto loan from your monthly ledger, your entire financial posture changes from defensive to offensive. Next, we need to address a sector where prices have completely detached from reality: convenience food. There was a time when swinging by a drive-thru was a strategic, budget-friendly choice when you were short on time. That era is dead. Paying $15 to $20 for a mediocre meal handed to you in a paper sack through a car window is no longer a convenience. It is a luxury tax on your lack of planning. And casual sit-down dining? It has quietly morphed into a major wealth destroyer, where two people grabbing a standard weeknight dinner can easily vaporize $80 in an hour. Pause right now. Open your banking app and tally up every transaction from a restaurant or delivery app over the last 30 days. The final number will probably shock you. I am not saying you can never eat out again, but cooking your own meals is the highest hourly wage you can pay yourself when you calculate the difference in markup. Now we have to tackle the psychological side of your expenses, the ego tax. This is the premium you pay specifically to signal status to strangers. You see this most obviously in clothing. You can buy a perfectly functional, high-quality cotton shirt for $10, or you can hand over $200 for the exact same fabric produced in the same facility, simply because it has a luxury designer's emblem stitched on the chest. When you pay that massive markup, you are essentially buying a wearable billboard that begs other people to validate your success. Real wealth is silent. The people who are actually financially secure do not need to wear their bank accounts on their sleeves because they are busy building actual net worth instead of faking it. Then we have the quietest killers of monthly cash flow: forced upgrades and digital subscriptions. Tech companies have engineered a cycle where people feel obligated to drop $1,000 every 12 months to replace a perfectly functional smartphone, just to get a slightly better camera lens. Combine that with the subscription bleed. $10 here, $15 there. It feels like rounding error in your budget. But when you aggregate 5 different streaming networks, a fitness facility you haven't visited since January, and assorted app fees, you are bleeding hundreds of dollars every month. Here is a brutal but effective test. Cancel every single automated subscription you have today. Wait and see which ones you actually miss enough to manually go back and re-enter your credit card information. I guarantee you will only resurrect a fraction of them. This brings us to one of the most absurd modern financial traps: financing your household goods. People are actually walking into retail stores and taking out loans with interest just to buy a new couch. They are going into debt for living room sets that will inevitably be worn out or covered in stains by the time the payment plan is finally finished. Why? Because they want their living space to look perfectly coordinated and Instagram-worthy for people who do not even live there. You can easily find perfectly good, high-quality furniture on secondary marketplaces for a fraction of the retail cost. Stop paying interest on depreciating upholstery just to project an image of perfection. So, how do we systemize all of this cost-cutting so you don't have to rely on willpower? You use this specific mathematical boundary. Take a screenshot of this framework right now. Step 1. Calculate net take-home. Look at your absolute post-tax monthly income. Step 2. The baseline cap. Add up your shelter, your transportation, your utilities, and your basic groceries. This total must stay under 65% of your take-home pay. Step 3. The surgical cut. If your baseline is currently at 80% or 90%, you are in a state of financial emergency. You must execute the cuts we just discussed. Downgrade the vehicle, slash the food delivery, and kill the subscriptions until you drop below that 65% threshold. Why 65%? Because it mathematically guarantees that you always have 15% to redirect into wealth-building investments, leaving you a full 20% to spend completely guilt-free on things you actually enjoy. Let's look at the ultimate payoff. When you strip away the auto loans, the drive-through habits, and the ego purchases, you don't just get a higher bank balance, you acquire a superpower: options. If you take just $500 a month that you recovered using this audit and you redirect it into a simple broad market index fund, you aren't just saving money. Over the course of 3 decades, that recovered cash will compound into a massive portfolio. You are trading temporary, meaningless consumption today for absolute, unshakable freedom tomorrow. The math doesn't care about your feelings, and it doesn't care what your neighbor drives. It only rewards discipline. Stop financing the illusion of wealth and start building the real thing. If this framework helped you spot the leaks in your own financial bucket, hit the like button so this message reaches more people who need to escape the trap.
Hey, if you're broke like this guy, share this and subscribe for smart systems.
I'm broke.
Exactly. Subscribe now.